What's going on with Research in Motion? 3 brand new smartphones in the past month or so, and their numbers should be great, but they're not so great, right, James?
Well, you know, it looks kind of bad. It's like they lowered their forecast for revenue and earnings last night, and you know, everyone's saying like this is really, really bad news for RIM. Okay, it doesn't look so good, but you know, it has to be put in the context of like this is a bad economy. All these handset providers seem to be struggling somewhat at the moment, and also if you dig into RIM's earnings report or its initial earnings forecast, there are some positives there. You know,
like what?
Well, for one thing, you know, we've got all these new devices that have come out in the last few weeks. The BlackBerry Storm, the BlackBerry Bold,
the Flip.
The Flip, which some of which we have in front of us now. And you know, when you look at you know, at the figures that RIM put out last night, we're seeing that already some of these new devices are starting to drive new subscriptions.
Well, there were lines. There are people who was waiting on lines for the Storm.
Exactly. And you know, when you look at the new subscriptions for Blackberries, like the figures were up something like, are going to be up something like 57% year over year. Now, it's maybe not quite as much as analysts were projecting, but it's certainly not something to be sniffed at.
But this is not only a RIM problem, a BlackBerry problem. This is industry-wide, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw a bad forecast from Palm last night, and you know, but everyone seems to be on RIM's case for some reason. I mean, it's, I don't know. I mean, they've had their problems. Like they could have got some of these products out earlier, and I feel that if they didn't have these delays that have dogged them over the last few months, then maybe we'd be looking at a different set of figures, and maybe people will be looking at RIM a lot differently today.
So what do you think about this quarter, the next quarter that we're in? Do you think RIM will have a little bounce?
I think that's a possibility. I mean, we don't know yet what the what the long-term impact of these new products is going to be. But I mean, you know, you had hold of the BlackBerry Storm a few weeks ago. You loved it. You know, it's a decent piece of kit.
It's absolutely a terrific phone. It's not perfect. Neither is the iPhone. Exactly. Neither is any other one that you could. There are Palms. I mean, there are all sorts of the G phone, the Google phone. There are all sorts of these new phones that are terrific in their own way. And I thought the BlackBerry Storm was great. I thought the Flip was fantastic. I think there's an embedded base of BlackBerry lovers, and they will embrace this, and that may help.
Absolutely. A lot of what RIM's problems are at the moment is that they've really gone after the consumer market in the last few years. You know, they were perceived as very much this sort of corporate tool, and now they're going after consumers. And you know, in this economy, it's almost inevitable that they're going to encounter these types of problems. But there are other things that kind of give me some hope about them over the coming quarter. For one thing, you know, we see carriers are really aggressively promoting the new BlackBerry Storm. You know, that can only be a good thing. And there are a couple of other things as well when you look at RIM and what they're doing. Like, no one seems to have paid much attention to it, but this morning they actually went out and bought a small-sized Canadian mobile security company called Certicom. Now, RIM isn't a company that's renowned for its M&A activity, but here they are. They're going out quietly strengthening their patent portfolio at a time when everyone says kind of like, you know, the walls are collapsing around them. So I think things aren't as bad as maybe people are saying they are.